Okay, there we go. Had some minor tech difficulties. Sorry about that. We'll try to um, work through it. I know people were trying to get into the last stream. So apologies from all the tech gremlins out there. These things happen. I wanted to thank four people in the core class for submitting their essays. And if you're new to the class, please submit your essays to Harold Carter at 880 at gmail.com. That email address is posted in the core class group um, as well. Marianne Clark, thank you so much for submitting your essay. We have Lady Carew, thank you for submitting your essay. Bernie Ryman, thank you. And Marianne Clark, who also submitted an essay. So I really appreciate that. If you can come on the video feeds and you're enjoying the class, I see that we do have some viewers. It would be great to have an introduction at all in conversation. But if not, that's okay. There's some discrepancy on how to get into the rooms, and perhaps there needs to be a different way to do so. But that's fine. Um, for week two, we're going to be discussing we have Favorite now. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me all right, Farron?
It is much better now.
Okay, great. We had tech problems and these things happen. Were you in the initial first class?
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. You're just off camera that time, which is fine. You don't have to be on camera. Um, did you submit an essay yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. So you're using like a craft name. It's a different name. So I don't know which essay I would be looking at.
Oh, I put it's Farron in the beginning.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yes. So thank you for submitting the essay. I've definitely been looking under them, and I'm going to read them twice and go ahead and respond to you independently on the side. Because not only will we have the core class, which is going to be Sunday evenings at 7, Wednesdays at 7, but also an independent type studies where it's just going to be like a one on one. So, also. So thanks so much for writing your essay. And we don't have any new introductions on the feed, so I we could talk about week two, which is going to be this Sunday, which is going to be talking about the seven hermetic principles, and we're going to open up the seven hermetic principles, starting with mentalism and exploring mentalism and what it truly means. I did ask the question, what is mentalism, in the main body group? And I had one person comment on what it was. And then we had our dear friend Ian Corrigan crack a joke with some people that were quite mental. So we appreciate that, Ian Corrigan. We tip our hat to you. And he's a great gentleman and a druid and a scholar himself. Um, Farron, do you have any questions at all as far as course class goes?
Not really. Just looking forward to it and learning some new stuff though.
Right. And uh, it seems kind of boring in this, but I mean, we really want to focus on the foundation of these things, and I think that hermetics is a real good place to go to start off with. I think it makes a real good solid foundation for anyone's craft. And then after we get over the seven hermetic principles, we can start looking at different types of craft and different rites, and rituals and way that we do things, and we can apply those things to those seven principles, and see what's really going on, because we do a lot of things differently in the craft, and we do things a certain way. And I mean, they say that there's no dogma in the craft and stuff. I mean, if that's true, then why do people in the craft, it seems like most craft groups, we'll use the Charge of the Goddess, for example, a great piece of writing that was written or coined by Doreen Valiente. And you see so many different groups that utilize the Charge of the Goddess within their ritual structure and circle castings, etc., especially for their isbets and that nature. Well, if it's not dogmatic, why is most groups utilize it? It's like an unwritten dogma, and I think the most important thing to do is is understand what they were talking about. What is the underlying principle of why they were doing, like getting to the bottom of it, just to the core of it. And I think that the Hermetic 7 principles is the way to start, getting to the origins or the very core of exactly what we are doing. And we can go from there. With that being said, we have people in the chat room. I can't seem to join the live. Harold, hi, what's up? Farron, how did you join the live? Did you get it from the core class chat room, or did you get it from the group page?
I actually went through both, each of them different times, but it did say something about making sure you're on Chrome.
Okay. And that does make sense. I think that with the StreamYard software that we're utilizing, it does fancy Chrome. So if you're interested in the core class and you're trying to get on, but you can't, I would recommend getting Chrome installed in whatever device you're using. You can jump on the core class on your cell phone or computer or what have you. Can you kind of walk us through how you jumped on?
I'm on the laptop, so I just clicked on the link and it brought it up and asked me if I wanted to join with a microphone or and camera. That was it.
Right.
On
So
the cell phone, it wanted me to like download some stuff.
okay. All right. So basically, you're hitting the link, you're approving the mic, you're approving the camera, and then here we are. So yeah, Farron, I did read your essay, and since you're on the streams, and today's class is oriented on an introduction, tell me a little bit more about yourself, more than last week.
I'm not really sure. I've been practicing for about 26 years, mostly by myself. The last couple of years, I joined a group to learn the basics and fill in some gaps. Um, and then I'm pretty much back to being solitary. I'm part of a Norse pagan group, just like a community. We don't do a whole lot. We have rituals every now and then, but just join like once a month on the full moons.
Mm-hmm. And you said that your group were practicing the basics. What are some of the basics that you guys were practicing or learning?
Actually, pretty much what you were talking about, like circle casting, the elements, directions. Um, I became an initiate and was learning more advanced stuff like particular spell casting, but I just didn't kind of clashed with the group in some areas. So kind of just went on my own way.
Right. And I can honestly say that probably happens all the time. Probably happens all of the time. So when you talk about like a Norse group, you guys were a Norse group, but you were circle casting. Is that what you said?
No, that was a Wiccan group. The Norse group I'm in is a lot different. I mean, they have an altar set up. We make an offering depending on what the month's focus is. Um, Pretty much just gather around the bonfire and talk and chat and eat.
Right. And I mean, to me, that sounds like a social club, and that's kind of where I'm at these days, where there's a difference between you're actually getting some kind of knowledge and going through an experience where you're learning something, where opposed to a bunch of folks getting around a fire, smoking some weed, and just saying, "Hell yeah, hell Odin." To me that there is a difference. There definitely is a difference.
There is. I still pretty much like the solitary route of learning stuff from what people say, adapting it to the way that I do things, and create my own stuff.
Hmm. Hmm. And how do you celebrate the Wheel of the Year alone? How do you do that?
It varies, but I just set up the altar according to the time of the year. Um, like for Lunasol, bake bread, create the little doilies, like just random different things.
Right, right. Very cool. Very cool. Um, and I gotta ask you. I know it's out of context today. It's just an introductory day. But just to go forward with a couple things. I've noticed that a lot of different traditions have this universal concept of where where the quarters are, or east and west and north and south, and what those associations are, or why they're that way. And one thing that I've learned by questioning the very origins or the reasons why we do certain things, um, brought me to the reason why we associate east with air and west with water, and those correspondences had a lot to do with how the Mesopotamians were doing things in Mesopotamia back in the day in relation to their surroundings. And I think that's kind of important because if, in modern day, if we are on, the eastern coast of America, and the largest body of water is the Atlantic Ocean, which is east, why is water still going to be west? So that's one of the things that I kind of questioned. And I think that is going to be, the meat of exactly what the core class is all about, and really what the craft is all about in general. And I think people seem to forget that people who are in the craft, originally, I believe, from stuff that I learned years and years ago, and you could probably relate to this, is that we question all authority. And when you question all authority, I feel like even the authority of the craft itself, if like, and because I mean, is the fact that you say east is air, and you cast your circle a certain way, does that um, is that become dogmatic, or is that just like a universal way? Because I know from going to different pagan festivals that if you have somebody's casting a circle, it's usually done a universal way where everybody kind of recognizes that. But what I have noticed is that people that you talk to about their homestead or back home before the festival, they may or may not do it a different way. But to get to the very origins of why the circle casting is done in a particular fashion was because of the way that they did it in Mesopotamia. And I think that is just brilliant to try to get to the core of why things are done a certain way. Um, so yeah, so yeah. With that being said, um, how do you cast a circle?
I actually don't follow the generalized way that people do. I don't work with the deity so much as just the elements, so it's not like I don't set up for the god and goddess on the area, and I don't know. I guess doing it so many years, I've become kind of lax on it.
Right, right. Which is okay, but you definitely have enough passion to be here today. So I thank you for that. Thank you so much for making an effort with your essay. It shows that you're hungry, and we got to stay hungry. We have to stay hungry. We definitely do. It is with fire and passion, that we are going to progress on any path. Like that, the commonality of people say walking the path. Well, when we stay on the path, we got to be hungry. And I mean, I've been starving a lot of years. been starving. So there we are. It says somebody's in the chat room. I have Chrome because I'm in a different country. Okay, that makes sense. I have Chrome, I think, maybe because I'm in a different country and I can't get on. I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm here. That makes sense. Knowledge is power. Yes, certainly is. But there we have it. The introduction is pretty much done. Next week, next Sunday night at 7, we would be starting the core class and talking about the hermetic principle of mentalism. Weekly, we're going to go through the 7 and work our way up with a good foundation. And I look forward to having you all here next Sunday at 7. Thank you for being on the core class and taking the core class. And I will be reviewing your essay, Feyrin, if I pronounced it correctly. I'll be taking a look at it and giving you some great feedback and going through the other essays as well. So thank you so much. This is the core class.
Bye.